So today in writing, we are going to look at using a rubric to help make our writing stronger. Specifically, we're going to look at the expectations one more time and just the wording of how your writing piece is going to be graded, your informational writing piece on your civil rights leader. Now, these are all requirements we've been talking about, but now there are some specific things I want to remind you that all good writers should do before you do submit it eventually to get graded. So if we take a look here, there's really two options that we have as far as wording goes. It's kind of one's more like a checklist, one's really the rubric and how we would describe each section and category that you're graded on. So let's take a look at both of these quickly. Option one here is a rubric that shows how to grade an informational piece, grades 4 and 5. This is a collaborative group work done by the Literacy Design, and this is how really the, kind of the official rubric that we'd look at as far as what we need. And so as this goes, you have emerging, which is a 1, a 1.5, a 2 for approaches expectations, 2.5, 3 where you meet expectations, 3.5, and 4 where it's advanced. So to get full points. And so this is kind of a continuum. So each section here, topic and main idea, you could either get a 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, or 4. You go across. Use of sources, go across. Development, go across, and that's how you would read this. So I want to take a moment and let's really look at the advanced section. What would it take to get full points in each area? So this first one, topic and main idea. You introduce your topic and give a clear, specific main idea with a consistent focus on the main idea throughout. And so we're really focusing on the impact your person had on the civil rights movement, and throughout your information that you write in your piece should really focus on that. That's your topic, that's your main idea, and you may give some background information of their life, but really, like I said, the key part of your research is to tell about their contributions to the civil rights movement. Use of sources, if you look here, summarizes, paraphrase, or quotes well-chosen details from sources and includes a complete list of sources. So if you've done your job, you've done your slides where you list your sources, you followed the lesson where I tell you the breakdown of specifically how to list out your sources, the author, the publisher, the page numbers, all that information. If it's a database from Mayan, Epic, Social Studies Weekly, if it's a book, follow those lessons. And then also I'm going to look at your research should not just be copied down word for word. Your informational writing is not just writing down the facts. So if you still have not changed them enough, remember, these are your own words. So some people write down the facts and copy them directly from the source, then change the wording. Some people change the wording as they create their notes, and then they put that into their writing. That's up to you. I personally usually try to paraphrase and change up the wording as I'm taking the notes, so then I could use those ideas, maybe change them up a little more as I'm writing. We just do not want to copy, and so if we do any copying, we give specific credit to that source and we put it in quotation marks. You may have some direct quotes, not just quotes from your person that you're writing about, but also from the source that you pull information. If it's hard to put things into your own words, then you can quote it and tell where you did get it. But most of this should be in your own words. And so using your sources without copying and listing them correctly is this area. Development is explaining facts, details, definitions, any sort of illustrations, anything you need to develop your main idea. So when you develop it, you don't just state something and move on, but you develop that idea and maybe explain it more than one sentence, 2, 3, 4 sentences even. If it's a specific thing like an event that your person, you're focusing on their impact, and Rosa Parks on the bus. You don't want to just give details and move on. You need to develop that with specific details and what happens. This is an important part of all of your writing this year. Of course, as a writer, you develop it. You don't just give a list of things, but you give details. You fully develop your ideas. Organization here, sequences sentences grouped in related information logically in paragraphs or sections that develop that main idea and have a conclusion. So this part of it is just organizing into, really, I'm looking for paragraphs. And if you focus on your 3 subtopics, maybe early life, Rosa's life, or Rosa's time on the bus and the decision she made there, and then afterwards, maybe the Montgomery bus boycott. Those could be your 3 subtopics. Each of those could be a separate, fully developed paragraph, and then you have an intro and conclusion. So that's 5 paragraphs. That's a great way to organize it, an easy way to organize it. So I would suggest an intro, your 3 subtopic paragraphs, and your conclusion. That would be how to organize it. And then here within this is also using transitions, transition words. Especially as you begin a new paragraph. Another way that Rosa impacted people's lives, or after that, later on. Of course, these happen not just at the first part of each paragraph, but within sentences. Use transition words whenever you're shifting ideas. And so all of that goes with organization. That's a lot to cover. And then conventions is just grammar, spelling, punctuation. Did you catch those errors? Read over things multiple times. Okay, and so maybe have somebody else, your learning coach, read over it. But here is how you will be graded. And I think this is a very detailed thing that will help you as you think about how you're graded. Okay, and so the other option, rubric 2, really is just a shortened version. It's more like a checklist. Here, this column is areas of concern. So maybe you can have someone look at this and say, what are they concerned about for each of these areas? Here, what did you do really well, the advanced part? And so this is, sometimes I use this to score. Did you introduce your topic? Do you have your introduction? Okay, what are my concerns? What did you do well? Do you develop the topic with details, facts, definitions? That's where we talked about the development. That's where this is. Group things related together, related ideas together, organized. Really, that's writing in paragraphs, organizing in paragraphs. Here, linking words and ideas together. This is transition words. Using precise language and vocabulary. Once again, this goes with being very descriptive and explaining things in detail. Okay? Provides a concluding statement or section. So have a conclusion to end your informational writing. And then here, this has to do with the language, the usage, conventions, spelling, any sort of things with grammar. So always complete sentences, a variety of sentences. Okay, we'll talk more and more about compound and complex sentences, but it's important to have longer sentences, shorter sentences. It makes good writing, a variety. Your conventions, your language, all your errors, once again, need to be caught and fixed before you submit it. Okay, and so as we look at this today, I want you to use these rubrics, however the wording helps you the most, to revise, fix up your informational draft. Your slides should have your final draft on there. You should be making those changes. If you have to, for instance, you're like, I used too much of the research, I used too much of the author's writing and not enough of mine, and I'm worried about plagiarism, or I didn't put things into paragraphs. I need to go back and regroup things into paragraphs, or I don't have an intro or conclusion. Whatever it is that you need to do, organize into your subtopics, transition words, grammar mistakes. Today you are going back and fixing things up, today and tomorrow. So do awesome work, and I can't wait to read it. Try to fix things up and have it done by the end of the day tomorrow on Friday.